nice and light. Mae Geri and step back. Yeah. Like low and light here, guys. Try and stay at the same height. Knee. Remember, like that thing of doing a sit-up, yeah? So you tense in your core, getting that tailbone lift at the same time, tightening your hamstring to get in that sharp lift. Stop. Yeah, try not to like open beforehand, just lift and kick. Keep. Make sure the ball of the foot's going direct, yeah? Not going up, certainly not to toes. Ball of the foot in and back. Go! That thing of width, yeah? So remember, it's not the out, which is making it strong, but the back to get that kinetic energy in. Basically, it has to be on the target for as short time as possible, yeah? So it's not necessarily the out, which makes the impact, but it's hitting and then off the target quickly that does, yeah? Shit! Ha! Even to the extent you're not leaning and then kicking, yeah? And just try and lift straight away. Behind, yeah? So the Yoko Geri Kiagi. So a similar feeling with the knee lift, but this time you can think about the obliques, yeah? So the abs on the side. As I lift, in this case my right, I'm going to think about pulling that right hip back and pushing that left hip to get that immediate lift. Yeah? So that V shape, foot coming towards the opposite knee, pulling that kick and hip back, pushing that opposite hip forward. Yeah? So this compact feeling. Then allow that rotation, allow that hip to go in, hip to edge of the foot, and then down. Then low and light. For years and years, we'll do this with the target later on, yeah. So you see, like I was always taught this kick was going up. And I'm not going to say like kicking someone underneath the jaw wouldn't do anything, yeah, but I would argue perhaps it's quite difficult to land. I'm sure some people can. But think more of this like as a jab, yeah, that kazami, so you can feel it just with your foot going in and back. She. And again, like allow. Okay. Couple of things. First thing, the main, or certainly one of the main errors often seen with Yoko Geri Kiagi is toes going towards the ceiling. Yeah, you want to make sure it's like the edge of the foot, predominantly the heel, going into the target. Yeah, so if I leave, in this case, my left foot that way, like all I have to do is send that foot round and it automatically rotates that foot. Yeah, so that's one reason to do this. Yeah, again, lots of people or some people teach you keep that foot still with the Kiagi, yeah? But again, it helps with the shape. And also by rotating that foot, it helps send that weight into the target, yeah? So the more weight I can get behind the technique, the more effective it is. It creates a better foot shape. So think about having that rotation, yeah? What you don't want to do is send it out and then hook the heel back towards your backside. So don't send it out like a Kiagi and then back like a Mawashi. Yeah? Make sure they're two very distinctly different kicks. Foot back to where it started. Hunch! Come! And like look at your foot, yeah? You can easily see your toes going towards the ceiling. Make sure it's not. Yeah! Mawashi, yeah? So we're going to keep it light. Again, thinking about that oblique, like squeeze to get that lift here. If I exaggerate the feeling is you're almost trying to get that knee towards your shoulder, yeah? So you're having that good lift to the side, rotating that foot, sending the hip in for Kihon, hitting with the ball of the foot, hip and foot arriving at the same time, and then just lightly step forward, yeah? We're washing it. Yeah, so uprights, uprights, uprights. Remember, height of kick, unimportant, quality of kick, paramount, yeah? So I'd rather a good kick going to Gidan or Chudan than a not so good kick going to Jodan, yeah? So make sure you're staying upright, timing the hip with the kick, a good snap back and down. Knee! There's an awful lot of... So that should be still. Still. And then as you want to send the hip in, that's when you should allow it to rotate. Go! Look! Snap before you start to bring it back. Shake! And remember, you want to be in such a position, like though we are stepping back. If I wanted to, I could just keep going here. As soon as you allow this upper body to change, as soon as you allow that hip to kick out, like you're going to start losing your balance. Yeah, upright, weight in, and then just keep it up. Change. It's not snapping though. You're placing it, yeah? Snap. Punch! And make sure this is coming round here. So for instance, Jacob, you just kicked up, yeah? And that's not to say you can't do that, yeah? You can obviously kick someone that way. But when it's our Kihon, like our technique in its purest form, make sure it is very much round, yeah? Make sure you kick in like that knee to the side, coming round, hitting with the ball of the foot here. Don't allow it to change in any way. Punch! Yeah, that's better. Go! But then step back. Go! So like the path of the knee should be the same, forward and back. Yeah, change legs. Punch! Good question. So like varies, really. Just like this hard, so I'm going to kick your stomach. So like if I'm snapping off the target, the feeling is like knee, hip, foot, same time, yeah? For that touch. And obviously you can still impact with that. I'd say if you wanted to kick hard, I'd probably be trying to get my knee past, yeah? For that like cutting feeling. What you definitely don't want to do is hip knee and then just the foot afterwards, yeah? So regardless of which one you're doing, you want to make sure that hip is coming in at the point of impact, yeah? So I guess you are going to be square for a little bit, just as you are at any point of rotation. Your body has to pass that point, but like try and kick so fast that you're not stuck. I guess it'd be that knee lift, and then everything coming in, yeah? Or of course, like in the Kumite, that's where you can start applying that, yeah? Or indeed, just sort of like hoofing it up under his guard, in which case it's sort of more of a natural feeling anyway, yeah? Or you just, in which case you don't care. Okay. That's right. For Kumite, generally I'd be hitting with the instep. It's easier to land, generally. Certainly for Jodan, for that control, like you want to try and get that touch, which is certainly easy to do for instep. For competition Kumite, certainly, you get longer range, like for competition, you can get that slap, which often generates an nippon. If I was trying to kick hard with the Mawashi, like I'd probably be trying to use my shin and cutting down like that way, or just like hoofing it across. But yeah, like 3 options: ball with foot, instep, or a shin. Yeah, the only one we tend not to use in class is the shin because it's very heavy and can lead to damage, and we very rarely wear pads. If you go to like Muay Thai, they only use the shin. Yeah, and they kick like horses. Yeah, really, really strong. But yeah, those are your 3 options. Any other questions? Cool. So, a couple of things. The main thing, which perhaps led to problems 2 and 3, is that like people are 1, 2, like where you are not stopping, like Joe can't keep up, I'm not adjusting my distance, I end up too close, too far, yeah? So I get my distance first. Remember, at the point of impact, I don't want this leg straight, yeah? Because then to try and hit with any sort of impact, I have to lean. Well, that's not quite right, yeah? But to feel like I'm impacting, I'm going to lean to touch. Remember, though we are touching because we're controlling, the feeling should be I'm kicking through, yeah? So at the point of impact, you want that here, so that if I were to engage, like I'd have that ability to kick through, yeah? So remember, with control, it should be just off straight, yeah? Some of you are kicking way too close. Like you can kick from here, of course, but again, this is like Kihon, so we're working on the pure kick, yeah? So make sure your distance is correct. As we said earlier on, I don't want this leap, yeah? Even if I try and be strong, if Joe starts moving forward, like I'm going backwards, yeah? So you want to be upright and sending the weight in, not away. Okay. So what I'm seeing a lot of is like where you're so much thinking about distance that you're letting it affect what's happening after. Yeah, like I often say, like try and get that knee up as high as you can, as fast as you can. Because again, Kihon is Kihon and the training. When I've got the target in front of me, like I can lift my knee to about there and hit. Yeah. So as soon as I'm able to hit Joe, I want to hit Joe. Yeah. Like I'm not bringing it up and then pushing. Like I'm not delaying the kick, which is ending up on the lean. Like direct. Yeah. Compress, hamstring, and then forward. Okay. Okay. And then the Kiagi. Okay. So like I say that for I'm sure seniors, you were often taught the same here, the idea of this kick coming like up. Yeah. And like obviously you can do that, but I would still argue that just like kicking out like a jab would be more effective than coming up anyway. I suppose you would get that impact, but I would argue doing, I don't know, like that feeling of coming up that way is again perhaps harder to do than that. Like I'm not going to say don't do it, but we're not doing it. Okay, we're going to aim for two down. So the feeling is, remember that preparation, foot parallel to the floor. My foot is by my opposite knee. My kicking knee is going towards Joe. This compact feeling. Then I'm rotating it. Then snapping back. Yeah. So like that jab, up, in, and kick. Edge of the foot, go in. Okay. Step back. So again, working on that crisp kick. Yeah. Compress, full rotation, timing of the hip, and then in. Okay, guys. Obviously, 3 different kicks, like 2 different angles. As you've probably noticed, the distance is different, the timing is slightly different on all of them, yeah? So on that first one, I'm pushing off, as we often, just a few things, yeah, as we often talk about on, just start to kick slowly. When I go right, I'm not going to move my right leg first, and then left after, because it's too late, so I'm pushing off that front leg, in, yeah? And then I move my front leg as much as I need to deliver the kick, yeah? As we said earlier on, like, I can absolutely kick from there. Like, I can change the target, so you can make an effective kick from that distance. But, again, we're challenging ourselves, yeah? So I want to be moving at such a place that, like, it's that classic Kihon kick from one step, yeah? On the first one. The second one, slightly different, yeah? So what I don't want you to do is, and then have to come back in. So the challenge from here is almost trying to get that single movement, yeah? So the challenge is off, and then just lifting it, yeah? Off, and then immediately coming back in with that Kiagi, yeah? Obviously being careful. And then the third and final one, again, is all about distance, yes? What I don't want you to do is come back and then have this run up, yeah? So try and judge it, that after the step, you can just lift and kick, yeah? As for your hands, like, if you're confident, senior grade, like, open hand is okay. This is certainly safer. No splayed fingers going towards shins or insteps. First was the same. First was the same. The second one, like sending the kick that way, yeah? Not just because like block works, but also because you can then time it with that hip coming back. Okay? Any questions?